Welcome to the South Sudan National Participation Institute. In our today's discussion, we're going to talk about the South Sudan's diasporas. As most of you know, the people of South Sudan had been struggling for their independence from the Sudan for over 5 decades. And this independence was gained on July 9, 2011. So during this time, a lot of things had happened, and one of the things was for the inhabitants of South Sudan to flee their country because of the conflict. Most of those become refugees in the neighboring countries, and actually some were forced to flee their country altogether to faraway lands, and they become the South Sudanese diasporas. So today we're going to talk about this. And the diasporas are, as it is indicated or alluded to above, are people who had left their country for one reason or another. And one of these reasons is a political instability or a conflict in their country. And diasporas people are almost, or their life are almost the same as refugees. The difference is that refugees have very limited options, or in most instances, actually, they don't have any options. But for the people of diasporas, they have some options. For example, they can be able to go to school to pursue their education or careers. They can be able to send their children to schools to learn. And in some instances, actually, they can be able to integrate into the host society and become contributing members of that society. So most of the South Sudanese diasporas are located in countries such as Australia, some European countries like Great Britain, the Netherlands, Germany, and in North America, in countries such as Canada, the United States of America, and of course in some other neighboring countries in Africa, and as well as Asia. So today we're just going to focus on the South Sudanese people in diaspora. So that is that. So from there we're going to move to the contributions that the people of South Sudanese in diaspora actually had made and continue to make to the achievement of independence and to the advancement and development of their country and the cause of the South Sudanese people throughout the world. Normally, when people are forced from their countries and to live in the diaspora, they have to undergo so many challenges and to actually overcome overwhelming odds. And the people of South Sudan actually over the years had shown that, and they had shown the resilience to continue in life, to maintain their lives to the best of their ability, and to pursue a normal life in terms of going to school or going to work or sending their children to school and so on. And not only that, actually, many of these people also have some relatives back home, so they had to work extra in order to be able to send some assistance to their relatives back home. So in this way, they were able to develop themselves and at the same time also contribute with some assistance to their relatives back home, and this also in turn has helped in the economy of South Sudan. Some also who had some opportunities, they were able to go back and work in some governmental institutions or with non-governmental organizations, and in this way they were able to transfer their expertise and experience to help in the development of their society there and in the development of their communities. And during the years of struggle for independence, actually, most of them actually contributed in terms of their advocacy for the plight of the people of South Sudan and for the victims of the war and the human rights abuses, and also to lobby these foreign governments to go and bring peace and stability to the people of South Sudan. So it's not really easy to enumerate the contributions of the South Sudanese diaspora to the cause of the South Sudan's independence and for the development of South Sudan. But these are some of the things that we can mention here. So the diaspora actually can be considered as a formidable force for peace and development in South Sudan. It should not be viewed as a threat or as a challenge to the people of South Sudan or to the system there. Of course, some of the people in the diaspora, after South Sudan gained its independence in 2011, some people actually went back to South Sudan, and this can be just considered as a few people, and some of them might have actually participated in counterproductive activities there in the Sudan or South Sudan after independence, of course. But that is just a small sample of the people of diaspora. In fact, the majority of the people in the diaspora are actually honest people, hardworking people. They try to work hard to live a decent life and also to contribute in the development of their families in the diaspora. At the same time, they are also contributing to the development of their country, South Sudan. So that's one thing. The other thing too, of course, in the diaspora, as it was mentioned earlier, life isn't easy always. So there are some of those South Sudanese who had fallen through the cracks, and they had also caused a lot of problems in these host countries. And one of the struggles is the families. The families, some of the families, because of the new culture and the new way of life, some of the families are affected in terms of family breakdown, in terms of children not completing school or doing counterproductive activities. But for the most part, the people in the diaspora actually work hard to make sure that they are peacefully settled in the host countries, and at the same time they try to develop their communities, try to promote themselves in these diaspora countries. Therefore, today I felt that this topic is so important. That's why I take this chance to talk about it in this brief segment. So the bottom line is that the people of South Sudan in the diasporas are a formidable force that can actually be used for a positive development of their country and of their communities. So, and hopefully in the future we will talk more about this issue. And usually, of course, when there are people who had gone to the diaspora or who had fled to the diaspora, and there are those who had been left behind, there is some kind of animosity between the two groups. It had happened in so many countries before South Sudan, but hopefully the people of South Sudan, whether they live in the country or in the diaspora, they will be able to find a meaningful cooperation so that such challenges and such difficulties can be overcome. And then in this way, if these challenges are overcome, the people of the same country will come together to live in peace and harmony. So we're going to stop here at this time. We will play a segment of music, and then we will conclude our topic there. So once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening and viewing. We have a number of topics lined up for our discussions. In this juncture, I will mention two. The next one is going to be the role of the United Nations in South Sudan. And then the next topic afterwards will be the role of forgiveness in promoting peace and stability in communities. And we are going to talk about the biblical perspective of forgiveness. So once again, thank you for your time. And until we see you next time, we want to say, have a good time. Bye.